Heather and Nira here again. Back with another one. Let's get some more conspiracy theory TikToks, Roulette style going. All right, let's go ahead and do this one.
President Trump said to declassify all the UFO stuff that the UFO experts that you have personal knowledge of and that you have personal connection to, they've gone missing or wound up dead.
Well, one did, the one everybody's looking for, and it's pretty, I don't know the circumstances. He left with a 38 in his holster, and you're never going to convince me otherwise. I don't care what they find. I don't care what they find at this point. My wife said it the other day, how does somebody disappear in this day and age? How do they disappear?
So it looks like this is...
I just think there's a lot going on. We got to get to the bottom of it. And there's a lot of, and I talked to the president about that. He asked me what I thought, and I said, Mr. President, I think it's like an onion. You just keep peeling it back. There's that lady right there. She had metallurgical knowledge, some of our missiles and stuff, and it's just too much, Benny. Too much is going on right now.
Advanced aerospace propulsion and plasma physics, fusion and rocket tech is the individual who's recently gone missing. Well, that sure as hell sounds like working on the UFO project. Right? Yeah. You're telling me that right after President Trump said to declassify all the UFO stuff, that the UFO experts...
There were no planes flying that day. There's something in these chips. Definitely today. They put some extra stuff in it. Not only were there no planes flying that day, ask anybody on this planet, did you see those planes that day? They're all going to say yes. Okay, agree. I agree, yes. I did too. But ask them where and how did they see them? And every single person is going to say on TV. Oh, you mean television? This is what I'm trying to say. I wasn't even trying to talk about that because they on the roof and I'm trying to get them off right now. Get off! Now! Listen to me. We live in a portal. I'm not even just trying to sound like 607 Unk or any of those weirdos. Just hear me out. If you read the Bible, in order for a message to be delivered from the third heaven, from the commander-in-chief above, for you people, you Christians, you call them God and Jesus and all that stuff, right? I call them Yahuwah and Yahusha. In order for a message to enter into this realm, Yahuwah has to send it via an angel. Hear me out. Even when we pray, it's the messenger, or even in Psalms 91, where it's talking about the entire Yahuwah will send an army to encompass around us. Just hear me out when I say this. I'm saying that when we pray, that message goes to the angel, and then the angel has to deliver it to Yahuwah. I know it sounds crazy, but first of all, it's a beautiful thing. That's where you get the definition of chain of command. Let's keep it moving. What I'm trying to say is, when you look at Daniel, when he was upheld or the angel was upheld for 21 days, why do you think that the angel was upheld for 21 days, or the message was upheld for 21 days? Is because the message that was being sent from Yahuwah, from the third heaven into the second, we're talking portals, realms, come on, from the third heaven into the second, and then into our atmosphere, the first heaven, It has to go, the angel has to bring it. The person who was bringing it was the angel Gabriel, but he got upheld. So Yahuwah had to send who? Michael. Because Michael was way stronger than the prince of Persia. So you're like, wait, so what does that have to do? Why are you talking about there were no planes or anything like that? It's because I'm trying to tell you that these wars are not just fought over. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and rulers of darkness. What I'm trying to tell you is y'all think we went to war just because of what happened that day. And I'm trying to tell you that was all false. It was a reason to go into those three places, such as Iran, which is also known as the Prince of Persia, also known as Babylon. Look it up. You will find out that back there on my birthday, September 11, 2001, you will find out that the reason why they went in there was because they found the damn Stargate. They found another portal. And on top of that, they found the body of Gilgamesh. How do you think the Antichrist is going to be coming into this place? And I'm trying to tell you that what's happening right now over there in Iran, you think it's just fists and a whole bunch of... It's not. It's another message that needs to be delivered. And it's being upheld. And all of these principalities know it. Even the world leaders know it. But you too slow to understand it. Get off my phone. There were
1931 to 1936, right during the Great Depression, the Hoover Dam was created, forming Lake Mead and the largest reservoir in the entire United States, where it submerged multiple towns, brick and stone buildings, and old world structures. Today we're uncovering the hidden history of the Hoover Dam, the submerged town of St. Thomas, and the bizarre symbolism and technology that suggests that there's much more to the story than what we've been told. When the Hoover Dam was completed, it formed Lake Mead, again, the largest reservoir in the entire United States. This project submerged 248 square miles of land. This is equivalent to 158,720 acres gone, and all of it is under 532 feet of water, sinking things that would blow our minds today. Exactly like we've shown all over the world, including the town of St. Thomas in Nevada, where in the 1930s, residents were told to sell their land to the federal government. Most buildings were abandoned or dismantled. Why dismantle a building if you're going to sink it anyway? I think all of us can answer that. These buildings were not built with wood, and they were not built with dirt. They were palaces, and they were from the old world. They did not belong in Nevada at all. The entire town was submerged for decades until something happened recently. With record low water levels in this fake lake that they just made, remember, it's not a natural lake. There was never supposed to be water there. So obviously the water levels are going to go down. And they knew this. And that's why they dismantled these buildings. Because St. Thomas has now reemerged. 1931.
So when I pick my passengers up, I let them talk. And if it involves me, I'm going to jump in it. This one didn't involve me. This is that one time I'll jump right in on the conversation. And I think y'all might want to stick around and hear this motherfucker through. I picked up an elderly white couple in their mid to late 70s. in the upper millions. Trust me on this shit here. They were here in New Orleans, conducting business, in other words, getting rid of businesses that they own, finalizing that shit. On their way to California, I just dropped them off the airport to finalize the last properties they own in this country. How do I know? They only talking to their daughter. She's in London on her way to Canada to dispose of whatever business they got going on out there. So now Unc is a little curious. I'm curious as motherfucker. So I just asked her, listen, I don't want to get in y'all business, but is something going on? I said, I know we talking about the war and all of this, and I hear y'all flying around getting rid of stuff. The wife didn't say nothing, but she looked at her husband, he looked at her. The man told me, he said, listen, all I can tell you is this here. Just get you and your family together. I said, sir, listen, I hear this on TikTok. I hear it all the time. I said, I know prices are going high. That man said, this ain't got nothing to do with prices. Just get your families in line. If you can, try to put things together to manage at least a minimum of 6 months to take care of you and your family. So I said, is it going to be that serious? That man told me, what's your worst nightmare? What's the worst thing you ever thought could happen to you? That's what I can't think offhand. He said, anything that you ever thought was the worst that could happen to you, put that 10 times that amount. He said, listen, I don't tell you these things to scare you. And I don't want you to be afraid because there's no reason to be afraid. What's going to happen is going to happen. Now, I'm listening to this man telling me this shit. And he said, but since you asked, just get you and your family in line. So I'm telling everybody out here, some shit is going on. Because these people here, trust and believe me, if y'all would have saw them, you know I'm not bullshitting about these. These motherfuckers is up there some fucking way. I don't know what the fuck they do. But I do know they getting rid of shit for a reason. And when that man told me a minimum of 6 months to get my shit lined up for that little time, guess what? A minimum of 2 motherfucking years. My shit is gonna be lined up. I don't give a fuck if you call me paranoid or hallucinating. I'm following motherfucking suit, and I think y'all need to do the same thing. So when I pick my passengers up,
stating that they died to make the desert bloom. Hoover Dam and possibly other dams that we've seen are much more than what we're told. We know technology is being given back to us strategically over time. We all know that there are things that they found in the 1800s that we have never, and we will never see. Thinking energy, frequency, geometry. We don't know what kind of energy is being produced from these dams. Or for what? Are they powering cities, towns, or something else? Are they powering old world technology that is actually inside this thing, where you have symbolism outside, and the symbolism makes no sense for a dam? And we all know that. But let's say that there is a technology inside that needs an insane amount of power that only trillions of gallons of water could produce, where 2.5 to 3.5 trillion gallons blow through the turbines each year at the Hoover Dam. What would this be? We know about CERN. We know they're doing things, attempting to find the God particle in their words, splitting atoms. What do you think they could be doing that we just don't know about? Old world technology that they have found. Dams aren't just powering towns. They're not saving anyone from floods. They're the thing that's actually flooding the place. They don't care that much about us. Trust me. The Hoover Dam, it was funded by the U.S. federal government through the Boulder Canyon Project Act of 1928, where the government still owns it today, where even workers at the dam have said there are places that we're not allowed to go, sealed off chambers, restricted zones underground, deep tunnels that are not used for power or maintenance. Is there an old world technology at the site stating that they died to make the desert bloom? Hoover Dam.
They're taxing our tea. Oh, fuck this, we're going to war. They're taxing our whiskey. Fuck this, we're going to war. Now they're taxing our property. Even Jamal is taxable. They're taxing our income to fund the war. At least it's just temporary. They're expanding the income tax. At least it's just temporary. Permanent income tax. This is bullshit. But I'm not going to do anything about it. Estate tax. Money that was already taxed and saved up is being taxed again. Social Security payroll tax. At least it's like money for later that surely won't be taxed again when we go to collect it. Right? Paycheck withholding tax. Oh good. Now I get robbed every week instead of once a year. Medicare payroll tax. Oh good. You're robbing me even more every week now. Alternative minimum tax? Well, at least those wealthy bastards are paying some income tax now. They're not just fucking the working man. A tax for not being able to afford health care? Just kill me now. Federal, state, and city income tax, payroll tax, property tax, sales tax, self-employment tax, excise taxes, vehicle registration tax, capital gains tax, dividend interest, estate gift, and business taxes. Oh, they're coming at me from every angle. But aside from the sore asshole from the government fucking me constantly, I'm just a happy-go-lucky American. Why, yes, I am. They're taxing our tea.
If you make content and you're not using...
So if I told you that my dad signed an NDA to hunt something that wasn't supposed to exist, and that the people funding it weren't scientists, but billionaires, you wouldn't believe me, but this was posted on a forum where people share their real supernatural encounters, and the details are much more terrifying. So I found this story buried on a thread where people anonymously confess strange things that they've experienced or that they've witnessed or that they had heard of. And this one story was about this guy who he had posted it and said his father worked for a private maritime security in the early 2000s. He was a former Navy, he was quiet, and he was disciplined, and he never really exaggerated anything. But when he was dying, he told his son something that he absolutely couldn't make sense of. And he said, we weren't hunting sharks. Now, according to the Post, his dad was contracted by a shell company connected to ultra wealthy collectors, right? Like, the job was to escort a research vessel about 200 miles off the coast past normal shipping lanes, and there was no Coast Guard oversight, no official paperwork, and everything was sealed under NDAs. Now, the coordinates allegedly lined up disturbingly close to the area of the 1997 bloop, that sound that was detected by the Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So the father told him that was the reason that the investors got interested in that area in the first place. And they weren't looking for treasure, they weren't looking for proof of anything like that. But for 3 nights, nothing happened. And just open ocean and sonar, anomalies that technicians blamed on like thermal layers and BS like that. However, on the 4th night, just after 2 a.m., the sonar technician froze dead in his seat. And something was moving beneath them. It wasn't swimming, but it was pacing. And it was matching the boat's speed, like nose to nose. And it was large, he said. Now, the dad and 2 others were ordered to deploy a baited cage, and it was of like raw tuna and animal blood, and nothing really scientific, not careful, just bait just thrown out there, right? Well, that's when the water started to vibrate, and the Post said his dad described a shape surfacing about 30 yards from the vessel, and at first they thought it was maybe a diver or pale shoulders, long like a long dark shark or something like that, but it wasn't treading water. It was perfectly still, and it was watching them. Now, the deck lights flickered and the radios cut to static immediately, and then the thing submerged without a splash, and moments later something slammed the underside of the boat, and it was hard enough to knock one of the crew off of his feet. So the billionaire guests on board, yes, they were physically there, started arguing, and one of them wanted to capture it alive, and another just wanted footage. And this guy's father said that they lowered a reinforced net into the water and they caught something. But when they started hauling it up, the screaming began. And it wasn't mechanical, it wasn't a whale. They said that it sounded human, but it pierced their ears. And the dad said that he dropped his gloves because whatever was in that net started thrashing in a way that didn't make biological sense one bit. It was too strong and it was too coordinated. Then one of the cables actually snapped and the net plunged back into the black water, and the ocean went silent again. No more vibrating, no more splashes, no wake, just complete silence. The investors shut the operation down immediately on the spot, and everyone signed amended NDAs with heavy severe penalties, and the sonar logs were confiscated immediately, and the footage was seized. But here's the part that made the post even more disturbing when I found it. When his dad came home, he stopped eating seafood, like entirely. Wouldn't even sit near it, and once just got, when he was watching this documentary about deep sea creatures, he muttered, "They're not animals." And he was younger and he didn't really pick anything up. But, before his dad died, he told his son something. And he said when the net came up for those few seconds under the floodlights, he saw a face. It wasn't a fish, but it was a human face with eyes that reflected like a cat's eyes or like a raccoon's eyes. And it had gills opening along the side of its ribs. Now, the forum post ended with this. He said, "Believe me or don't, but check missing yacht records from the region between 2003 and 2006. And there's a pattern. And my dad swore they weren't hunting a myth, they were trying to own one. So tell me, if creatures like that actually exist out there, do you think that they're hiding from us, or are we hiding from them?" So if I told you that
So this video that I'm about to show you is Ryan from Raise the Colours. He was at Ramsgate Dock this weekend. Just look what he found when he was mooching around.
raisethecolours.org.uk. We're at Ramsgate. This is where we are. This is the harbour. This is the harbour. One border force, two border force, three border force. They're lying to us, guys. They're lying to us. And I've found out these, look, this is the undercover boats. And these are the ones, this company is picking them up. I'm going to have to jump it. Hold this for me, I'm going on. Hold this. I need you to throw me.
Yeah.
Hello? Am I still on? Can you still hear me? Is everybody there? Can you still hear me? So these have come in last night. One boat, two boat, three boats, four. There's the engines. These are the engines. These are the engines we found in grave lines. Migrant clothes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look. All their clothes, shoes. The next boat. More dinghies, more dinghies, more dinghies, more clothes. Look, look. Look. There's the fuel. There's the pumps. Who is supplying all of this? Who is supplying it? Look. Boots. Men's boots. Men's shoes. Men's aftershave. Men's coat. Men's jeans. Just look, they've got sand on them still from France.
Just look at all them dinghies that are used in channel crossings, clothing left behind in the harbour. This is the reality that people are starting to see with their own eyes. The big question remains, who is organising it? How is it still happening? And who is paying for it? Watch it, share it, and make up your own mind. So this video...
Do they have to do with the devil?
I'm not a demon. I'm not a demon.
What's good, y'all? We have part 2 right here. Y'all have been asking for this.
If y'all remember in the first part, we were asking AI to say a few phrases, trying to see if it was like demonic or not.
So today we separate fact from fiction. We examine what was really in Epstein's secret lockers. And we ask the question, is Ellen really incriminated in those files? And if so, who has been trying so hard to hide it?
Well, you know where that is too, right? It's a similar image to that, right?
No.
I know Jamie does.
What is it?
It's on the set of a famous talk show that's now not on anymore.
Oh, Ellen? Was that Ellen?
Yeah.
Really?
So the Epstein files have unleashed something the world did not expect. Old moments that millions watched at the time, but now, through a darker lens, seem to mean something else entirely. Let's start with Ellen DeGeneres. When Donald Trump threatened to release the Epstein files, Ellen reportedly left the country. She and her wife, Portia de Rossi, relocated to the English countryside. They bought a farmhouse and they said they were escaping the political climate.
DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi moved to England after Trump election win. Ellen and Portia have settled into a new home in the Cotswolds, a region in southwest England about 2 hours from London. We're told that the couple scooped up the place before the election, but were very disillusioned with Trump's victory, and as one source put it, they immediately decided to, quote-unquote, get the hell out. Wow.
However, the timing of their exit raised eyebrows. You see, the Epstein scandal has deep UK connections, Prince Andrew, the London social scene, and the trafficking network that stretched across the Atlantic, and Ellen suddenly was living in the heart of it. Now, just 14 months later, Ellen has purchased a $27 million mansion in Montecito, California. Insiders say she's splitting her time between the UK